When I was in high school, I desperately wanted to be in a romantic relationship like a character from a John Hughes rom-com. But in reality, I went virtually dateless for 4 years. And at the end of that, I ended up with really low self-esteem. And I really thought that something was wrong with me. And if I'm being honest, I felt like I wasn't worthy of being loved. And I really hoped things would change when I went away to college. And when I started my freshman year at UMass Amherst, two of my best friends from high school, Mark and Bill, they were already going there, and they were roommates. And I managed to get a room right down the hall from them on the 22nd floor of one of the biggest dorms on campus. And the night before class started, Mark and I were down in the dining commons, and this girl that he knew from the semester before named Tara came over to say hi to him. And she and I started talking, and we hit it off right away. And we only talked for about 10 or 15 minutes that first time, but I was smitten with her. And I knew that she liked me too. I was being that perfect combination of charming and witty and confident. And after a little while, she said, I got to get going, but it was really great meeting you. We should go out and do something sometime. And I wanted to be like, oh my God, that would be amazing. Here's my number, let's get married. But I did not do that. I played it cool, and I just said, yeah, I'm sure I'll see you again real soon. And so she left, and the next day I went to class. And when I came back to my dorm and I got on my elevator, Tara was there, and it felt like fate. We were both really excited to see each other, and turns out she lived on the 18th floor of the building, and the building was really old, and the elevator was incredibly slow, which was great because we had this witty banter going back and forth. And she took out a piece of paper, wrote her number down, handed it to me, and she got off on the 18th floor, and as the doors were closing, she turned around and she said, you better use that number soon, Bill. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. But I got to play it cool. I don't want to seem over anxious, so I got to wait 3 days, right? And then I said, did she just call me Bill? Because that is not my name. And then I flashed back to the conversation we had the day before, and I realized that I never actually said my name. And as best I can figure, she assumed I was Mark's roommate, and she asked somebody who knew Mark what his roommate's name was, and they said it was Bill, because that's how information was disseminated in 1990. And so, as a 51-year-old grown person, I realized that I could have just called her and said, hey, funny thing, my name's not Bill, it's Matty, I'm not Mark's roommate. But I did not do that. Instead, 18-year-old zero confidence version of myself went into a self-destructive, neurotic thought destruction process where I was just like, oh my God, she thinks I'm Bill, and she's gonna realize I'm not Bill. And when she figures that out, she's gonna realize I'm not that charming, witty, confident guy that she met, and it's gonna cause this super awkward moment between us, and she's just gonna end up hating me. And so I had hoped that it would just work itself out organically, like maybe she'd be standing near me when somebody was talking to me who called me by my actual name, and she'd be like, oh, man, that's funny, I thought your name was Bill, and then would have a good laugh and go get married or something. But that also did not happen. What did happen is I kept bumping into her around campus, which was great because we were having these really fun, interesting conversations, but it was also terrible because she kept calling me Bill. And every time she did it, I could feel myself just die a little bit inside. And I didn't want that feeling anymore. And this happened for weeks. This went on until I bumped into her on the elevator again. And she was like, Bill, when are we you want to go out and do something later? And I was just like, this is a nightmare. I cannot keep living like this, so I got to do something. So I said, all right, this is going to sound really weird, but I need to tell you something. My name's not Bill, it's Matty. And she just kind of chuckled and was like, yeah, right, in a what a very odd joke you're telling me right now kind of way. And I said, I'm completely serious. And I watched as the smile just faded from her face. And she started doing the math of all the times that she called me Bill, and started adding up all the opportunities I had to say what I just said, but for some reason chose not to. And she said, why did you wait so long to tell me this? And I said, because I was afraid that it would cause an awkward moment between us. And it really did. We rode up the entire way in complete awkward silence. And she got off the elevator without saying a word to me, and then she avoided me the rest of the time of that semester. And it hurt, it stung. I really struggled with it because I felt like it was gonna be like high school all over again, and all that self-doubt and anxiety just came rushing back into my body, and I was really depressed about it for a while. But some time went by, and I started to think about it, and I realized that it wasn't going to be just like high school, because originally Tara liked me. And yes, I took a very easily fixable situation and got into my own head and overthought it and kind of ruined everything. But before that, she liked me. And that realization kind of kickstarted my self-confidence. And that was the first step in a very long journey that led me to believe that I was worthy of being loved. And eventually, that journey led me to my wife. And when I first met Valerie, we talked for about 10 or 15 minutes, and I was completely smitten with her. And even though I was being that perfect combination of charming and confident and witty, at the end of that conversation, I made absolutely sure she knew what my real name was.